Just see how are we doing on the monthlies. So I did that. Then I kind of brought it back inside, see where the previous month was. Maybe I did something different here. Let's see. I did yearly, I'm sorry, previous year was, right? So this is our value area high. I keep getting like 2 points off, 40, 22 half and 20 and a half. So I gave it 20 and a half. I believe that's what I'm stuck on, or maybe 21, because that's also a previous week value area high, not low. So on the higher levels, right, weekly profiles and then the yearly profiles, we were right at that crucial point, guys. So what this would mean here, if they can create value above this level, what does it mean to you guys? Anyone?
They're accepting the lower value, and peanut
Yeah.
butter is getting more expensive.
Yeah, well, if they're finding, if they accept this value here over this profile, so let me just enable this guy. So if we accept value above this one, they're saying that we are rejecting this total value here. We're going to see price obviously looks like higher. And the higher value would be the previous year of that would be 2021. So you would have somewhere about 4409-ish, call it 10 on a good day for a chance for them to run up. And if you see here, right, if you just pay attention to this cursor, you know, between here and here, tiny, right? So 4273 can happen quickly, probably this week. But, you know, getting above this level here is going to require some special stuff from market makers. If they want to tap this value area high from 2021, it's going to take magic, right? It'll take some time to get there. But right now, they did break above it. I don't know if anyone looked at the futures since we had this break, but they did break above it, right? And of course, they gapped above it, right? And once they gapped there, now you're able to see kind of what's going on. So if I turn this off, we were here, and now when I turn this on, oh, never mind, we're no longer here. We are above the most crucial level that there is, and we did the gap up above it. So pretty smart. I give them kudos for that. On a slow day, on a holiday, why not? So right now, I mean, we obviously broke the range that we've been in as well. So if you go here, let's see if I grab the right tool. So let's see. So 68 is broken. Let me just go 3 sigma here. And this one here is also pretty much on the level that we were expecting. So if they're able to break this and hold and build value, the key is that they close above it. So if you see what they did here, right, they came and they struggled and then they went down. The key right now is, can you spend some more time above this level here? So when was this? In August? This was August high here. I mean, they spent some time here, right? They spent 6 days above. And then obviously, you know, that's when we got a new lows put in. So if this is the supply, right? So I would say this supply here plus this. If this is the supply that put in the new lows, I don't expect this to be just easy gone, right? But they did accumulate for a long time here. So maybe they're absorbing orders, but they did accumulate there for longer periods of time. So if you look here, this is our August. So if you go here and you don't extend, so you're looking somewhere about 42.83 would be that POC, the August sell-off POC. I'll try to get in the middle somewhere. Call it 42.80. So this is your August sell-off POC. This is so I would mark this level to be not this one. I'm sorry. That did not make sense. This one here. So I would keep this level on your charts. Just kind of keep it, because this whole thing here was the supply, right? If I could just grab from here to here, and then if I was to add this, let's see what it does. So it lifts it here based on these volumes, but there is volume that's being shared even on the left side. So I don't think it's only this supply that created it. It's just that this 4303 last time it came, we really started a dump here. I kind of remember like it was yesterday. I don't expect these guys to kind of just walk away now. So let's see. We'll watch that. Those are the big boy levels. And then you have the developing, right, for the year as well as a month, right? So the monthly is about to close. So let me show you this. So this is your yearly. And what can you tell about the yearly POC half the year here? Almost at the half point.
P-shaped almost.
P-shaped, and what else?
We're above.
Inside the range of the previous year, inside the value of the previous year.
So that means you're accepting this value, right?
Yeah.
So now if the second half of the year, which is in a couple of days, you're coming in and you're saying we no longer like this value, we want to go above. Ideally, you want to go to 4280, and then here would be, from volume profile standpoint, would be a go ahead, go long. They're probably going to be targeting 4400 and 4410. Okay, so that's the idea on a long, on a short-term long bias. This is what they can do, right? If they fail to create value here, this is, let's see. These candles just look plain nasty here now. If they fail to create value here, which they're really trying right now, the idea is, right, shorter bearish side would be what? What's your short bear target? Think value areas.
Well, it would be the 2022 POC.
4207.
I target 23 value
If
area
this
high.
is my previous value area
4139.
high, watch this. If this is my value area for previous week, it's this range right here, right? My short-term bias would be this, because this would mean what? That I'm executing what?
80%.
80% rule.
80% roll on the weekly, and this is your short-term bias target would be 4152. What is a 4153?
2-year POC.
Oh, that POC, yep.
Now you're talking. Now you guys are clicking. So this becomes a crucial level, right? I mean, I don't even know how far you can go to get the POC. I'm pretty sure it's going to be around. Let's see. So 46 on 3 years, 2.5 years is, and what is this? 39 is on a year and a half. So the POC dropped about 7 points since we checked last time. Well, also I wasn't on 3 days, I believe. But it doesn't matter. It did drop. Yep. So it did drop a little bit. So kind of good if you're a bear, bad if you're a bull. But does that make sense? I wanted to catch you guys off sides a little bit. That's why I asked the question the way I did. Does it make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
So this is the target that we're looking for in the short term. So you have to break this below this level. Ideally, we want to lose this POC, right? Between these two, it's 15 points. And in a crazy market that we've been, I don't know if you want to, get really, really short here between these two, right? So ideally, you want to lose 4207. The retail mafia is going to be sitting at 4200, right? So I would expect them to show up there as well. And then, if you dive deeper now, you can have multiple balances, right? So if you go on, let's see, let's look at the dailies here. So we talked about it last time, right? They had an accumulation, they sold off, they ran from a lowercase b, then they ran from this weird shape that they created, and then they had a huge P here on Friday, and so far we are creating a lowercase b. And if this B stays like this would be an interesting setup, right? Especially if this value area starts dipping in here, because if you go back in time, I don't think I can do it here. Go back in time in August and see how that played out. How are the shapes? And I don't know how to do all that here, but I'll let you guys do it as a homework. Look at the setups for that period before we crashed from August highs. See if there's any, like, is there any symmetry between markets and how this looked and how that behaved? But right now, you know, obviously Friday's high, which matches previous week value area high, 2022 value area high. So if this area expands, if they start printing, you know, prints below it, and especially if you lose this 42.15, your sentiment should be like, okay, yeah, maybe down. But if you short from PVWC, where can you expect a bounce? If you short here, where can you expect a bounce?
That high volume node there.
Ah, thank you. Good. You're expecting this to work here, right? On the P shapes, you're expecting this high volume node to protect here. First, the value area at 41.97. You know, you have pretty much increments of 10 points, 10, 10, 10, 10. And I know this group hates 10 points on ES. So these are the key levels for bounces for tomorrow, just off of this profile, right? There's some fixing they're going to have to do at some point. But if they're able to hold this, let's say they hold this value area low tomorrow, they come, you know, they might have something to push this higher, guys. And you don't want to be a permanent bear or a mind bear or bull. This should teach you to be kind of like adaptive and changing, right? So now we have a VPOC here as well. I'm just gonna add this.
Yeah, they're all like half of 25 cents apart.
Yeah. They're very close. And if you look here, that's what Larry's talking about. They're very close here. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if we lose the PVPOC taking some shorts. But let's see how the price action at least responds to some of these levels. Right now, I do like that they gapped up, right? And they protected the gap. And of course, retail knows that setup, right? They're going to come in and try to protect this gap as well. But the key is, you know, how's this value area going to look like tomorrow? When we open up, and I don't know if there's any major news tomorrow morning.
Consumer confidence is like the main one.
Yeah, there's a bunch of speakers midweek. A lot of speakers. Jobless claims. So there's a lot of job stuff coming up. So we'll watch this tomorrow. If they're able to break this value area tomorrow and, you know, defend this previous day high here, there's a chance we're going to go higher, especially, you know, since we would be opening here, you know, from Friday, you know, to Monday, you would be opening above PDH most likely if you stay here above the value area. And that setup from the PowerPoint, what does it tell you the key is?
Bullish sentiment.
Bullish sentiment, but what do you have to hold in order to run?
The prior day high or the prior week high, whichever.
Prior day high is correct. Prior day, you want to hold this tomorrow. If they lose this, that there's major weakness in their bullish sentiment. You gap up and you can't hold it, something's wrong. The reason why you gap up, does anyone have an idea? If you can't get over a level, why would you want to get away from it?
You gap up to cross a level that's difficult to get through.
That's at least my thesis on it. If you're not able to break a level, well, what if I jump over and I trigger different algos to buy? Meaning new buyers come in. Because this is a key level.
Don't ever get back down there.
I'm sorry?
You're hoping that you don't get back down there. You got to like kind of guarantee that you're going, you know.
Yeah, there's no guarantees. Nobody's going to guarantee.
I know, but I'm just saying more of a lean towards that you ain't gonna go back there.
No, that's correct. And that's the idea, right? If they go back in there, and they lose this value area high, I think we're setting up for potentially, reversal all the way, I would say, to the bottom of 2022 value area low.
How do they actually gap it up, Shorty? Like
They just
obviously
place,
that's
it's basically it's a passive auction. Somebody left an order, found value or supposedly news, and you can leave an order, right? Somebody can bid higher than what it is right now. Remember the lady from my auction that bid for vacation, 7 grand, 5 grand more than the asking price?
so they just come in and bid it higher than the last closing price before
Well,
the market
if you
closed.
want to test it out tomorrow, if you trade futures, buy higher 5 points than the market bid and see if you get filled.
Well, I'll get filled. That's not a problem.
Exactly. Why
But-
wouldn't they get filled?
Well, they have a lot more quantity.
Yeah. So if they're trying to push a price a certain way and they trigger the algos based on quantitative analysis, let's say there's some, gamma wall or whatever in that area, and they're like, yeah, we got to push above this and then we're going to get it. Well, then they just place heavy bids above. And when it goes over, maybe they trigger algos, or I don't know. I'm not saying it's orchestrated like a planned attack with different hedge funds. They've been doing some weird stuff lately with, zero DTEs. And you guys probably noticed that I have not played a lot of SPX zero DT unless I'm seeing a really good setup. Unless I come in, and trade the last 5 minutes, try to convert $30 to a, 200. Yeah, that's different. But as normal setups, no, they've been doing some crazy stuff with zero DTs. They're basically controlling the market from falling using it. So,
Your DTs have been brutal lately.
oh man, they've been difficult to play. They've been very difficult.
It's hard.
Very, very difficult to play. And then if you guys go in 65 minutes, I just want to don't add alerts. Dirty does that for us anyways.
I do what?
Add alerts. I get random alerts sometimes. I'm like, hey, what the hell is it ringing?
It's because we're all, everyone's watching stuff and people get bored. Just put a couple in there and
So
jump back in.
here's this. If you guys look, here's your imbalance, right? So this was, uptrending consolidation, and you're not really making higher highs. You're just, I would say, bear flagging here. Probably what everybody was watching here. They had a nice bear flag, and then of course, remember they're gonna do opposite of what retail is doing. If retail giving bear look, why are we running out of bear flags? Remember cat, right? They do opposite of what the retail's thinking. That's how they make money. So now here, if they're able to bring this back here, is there a reason in anyone in this call that you should not stab along here?
Nope.
Looks like a good play.
Guys, this would be a decent play. You have the POC, you have the previous week value area low, and then let's say if they, let's say we dip below this node here, right? What would this look like if you create some volume here and this expands? Let's say a little bit bigger here. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's say this volume node comes up to here and we go below it. What would this look like then? From May 23rd to now, it would look like a double B, right? So you have the area in here would be your free zone to play. So it wouldn't be a bad play. That's what I'm going to be watching for at least tomorrow, because all of these imbalances, right? You have some here, right? This is a huge imbalance candle. Then you had some selling happen here and, no follow through. They failed. So this supply here all together collectively just did not work too much. And then they popped over it. Okay. So any questions on this? And I wouldn't trust this one here, 80 level here. I would not trust this demand zone much at all.
Yeah, there's much there, even though it's May's value area high, but
Yeah,
it's in the middle of nothing.
Yeah.
And April value area high.
Yeah. And then on the 4 hours, if you guys look, I mean, this is a massive run from 4,100. I mean, you go down, you're going up. So now you see, you know, here, how many bulls would be trapped if we visit the bottom of first sigma here? I mean, I haven't seen Twitter this bullish in a while. And I don't say that's a, you know, Twitter is a, you know, a major sentiment. But, you know, if this is my third sigma here, let's just, I'll mark the bottom because this top one is going to overlap with everything. This one is also overlapping with PDH. Okay. $41.77. Did anyone check what's a 41.77 on clouds? Anyone? No?
Like the 4 hour and the weekly mid around that area.
See. I hate shifting this crap. Here's your ES. Look at this. Let me change this guy to 3 hours. Okay, so for newer people, these are Keltner clouds. They're just a little customized. What I'm showing here is I'm showing different variations of those clouds, meaning multi-time frames. So here is the monthly, this the weekly, the daily, and then the 4 hours we need to change. And now there's a 4 hour cloud as well. So add the 41.77 and 64 is a purple line, which correlates to what? The monthly. And if you look here, 41.77 is your first sig of this accumulation. So what do you think will happen here? I think this is where potentially you could get a nice bounce here. Not many people have this level on their charts, guys. I would guarantee you. So if you look here, maybe let me just make sure I'm. Oh, that's pretty good, I think. Maybe a tad bit this, but that's pretty good. There. So that level could offer support before here. And what would that mean if they did that here in terms of profile and POCs and value area highs on a bigger scale on this cumulative area from March 31st to now? What would that mean if they're bouncing higher?
They're rejecting that value.
Yeah, they're rejecting that value, but that would also mean that POC, if there's a lot of volume being shown here, I would expect this POC to do what?
Shift higher.
It would slowly, it would need to start shifting higher. If we do get a bounce here, and let's say it plays out, and let's say it doesn't make higher high, makes a lower high, and let's say it rejects previous week value area high, well, let's say this POC doesn't shift, you should get a little heads up. You know, something should be clicking in your head saying, hey, we're moving up, right? You're bouncing, but let's say your POC and the volume is not shifting up. And lately, the volume hasn't been, I would say, the best, you know, altogether. May is usually not the month known for, you know, big time trading. So May looks pretty low, but so does April. I guess March was the heaviest. Okay. So that's something I would personally watch just to see, you know, how they respond to it. If they take 41.77 bounce, I'll watch that. And here, let me just give you an idea on this balance as well. So here's your 41.677. You see the node here. So you have a node here, here, and here. And that will look better if I make it a little wider here. You see the nodes now? Is it better this way? So you have some nodes here, node here, node here. And this is a balance, I would say, area from 16th of May till now. So a lot of volume shifted up here, and then we broke above it. So, you know, if you're not able to hold this 4205, yeah, you're making a statement for this to happen quickly, but and that's only 70 points, guys. I don't know. It seems like that my sentiment's like a big drop. This is only 70 points. I mean, they ran it in it. How long did it take them to run it? I mean,
2 days.
from Friday,
Good enough.
9:30 till overnight, they got there. I just know many people are long. And if many people are long and the deal was signed, buy the rumor, sell the news, they bought it. Poof. You send it here, all these guys will be terrified to go long again. And then you bounce it here, all the way up here. These people are terrified to short. Right? So the game. So does that sound good for everybody? Does everybody able to at least see the picture? And you know, I don't mark these levels just for have something on my chart. I mark it so I can understand the values and where they're shifting.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right,
Yep,
perfect.
makes sense. Shorty, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So you have all of these different levels marked up already, obviously. Do you give, like, in terms of taking a short, for example, all those value area highs that are stacked right next to each other and then the prior week POC, do you give any one of those levels a bigger weight than the other, like with the
If they're
prior week
stacked like
POC?
this, yeah, if they're stacked like this, I mean, previous week value area high, 2022 value area high, PD value area low, and PDH.
Mhm.
And I think this is supposed to be PD value area high. I mean, you have a big levels here, and you're telling me you went above it, and they immediately, let's say in a scenario they send you below it.
Mhm.
Well, there has to be other time frame sellers, responsible sellers coming into the picture. Me and you can't do damage. We're speculators.
Mhm.
So if they're able to break these major levels, think about it. Weekly level is there. So there's some intermediate people involved. If the intermediate people are able to create imbalance on a weekly, it means they were aggressive buyers. They were initiative buyers. Then, you know, the session people, right? You have a bunch of people that are bullish, including retailers. So sure, they can, and it still requires power to move between the value areas. But if they're able to pop over the daily, the weekly, and the yearly, and you know, holding PDH, but if you lose all of these levels, yeah, I mean, I trust this level over, you know, a previous week POC, not
Mhm.
discounting that this is not going to be a bounce potentially, right? But I'm just saying that this, in terms of what it does in my brain, it tells me, hey, warning, if I was long, warning on a long position, we just lost a key level.
Mhm.
Right. And then, you know, when I look into the sentiment of the daily and the shapes, you know, and how we open tomorrow, that confirms the story, right? So that's what I watch. And then of course I pay, it depends, right? If I'm buying long, I don't see value right now to buy long. And you know, I think it was fairly simple, right? When we had the cumulative POC from March, right? That made sense because we were buying, you know, the bottoms, selling the tops. This whole area here. Let me make sure. No, not this one. So from this whole area, I mean, look, every one of these bounced. And now that they're above it, well, if you fail to go and, you know, above it, let's say you lose this level, which is also there, right? 2 sig, maybe I should mark it because otherwise I will not remember it. It's not fresh in my head. Let me just look at 4 hours here. Okay. Did I answer your questions or did I go too much?
Yeah, you answered my question. I think it seems like that 2021, or sorry, 4221 is like the big level. That's the main
It's a
mover.
huge level for sentiment, right? Because if you lose that, then you're losing the 2 sig. And I mean, if you're losing the second sig of an accumulation, I know you broke above the initial, range that we had. The structural range, I get it. You guys broke above it and that's it. So this was our high here on May 23rd. You rejected this level here, which is, I guess, what is this marking here? It's this liquidity here that was there. So you went above this, high here. Well, I'm sorry, something's wrong here. No. Yeah, this was the one. You went above this high, you grabbed the liquidity, and now you're below it. That's a classical setup for a dump in my world. And then if you go as far as August, right? If you go as far as here, you still have some liquidity. If you want to grab like 43.30, that'll be a pretty good one to go after. Yeah, I hate this thing. So now you don't have much liquidity on the top side, right? If they don't have liquidity on the top side, just think like them for a second here. If I don't have much liquidity to grab on the top and people are getting anxious or what do you think I should do as a market maker if I want to trick a lot of people?
Break 43.30.
Well,
But they need to create news to draw liquidity from the market.
yeah,
right?
you draw the news to get the liquidity, right? If you don't have much buyers left to take it up here, then you're going to generate news as much as you can, maximize the profits. But then think about the liquidities that are on the bottom. So since, August of 2022, you cleaned up pretty much every liquidity that was there on the top side. Now, let's look bottom. Here,
Start soon.
here.
Mhm.
The cycle will have to soon switch, meaning aggressive cycle to tap the bottom supplies. I mean, you have there's 10 companies pretty much controlling the market right now. Okay. Any questions on this?
Sorry, Shorty, I'm joining a little bit late, but one question I had for you is, at what point would you stop? Because at this point we have the volume profile being extended all the way right for this range. So at what point would you cut that volume profile off?
So if you notice the past 2-3 watch lists, it wasn't the first thing on my charting. I did not go to it immediately and start looking at the sigmas because for me initially the sigmas was a structural range, right? So if you look at it, I mean, even started before that. So even if you start from here, this was the range bottom, structural range bottom was here. So 4205 is really when you should have been like, okay, structure changed, the area changed, right? So if I was to, let me hide everything. So you see this level here? That was the level that we were after, right? We were charting from March 31st. So we were charting from here to here. If this was my top of the range structure and this was the bottom, they broke the range here. So it's no longer valid, but I just want to know, even if I stop until here, let's say, and I grab the POC and the sigmas till this point, that would still be helpful. Because then I would know when the rotation can really happen to the down targets. I don't mind having it to know where are you rejecting, at what point are you rejecting, and what is the opposite value at that time. That's the
So
main.
that would almost become like a 80% rule type situation.
That's correct, because usually with the value areas, you know, the way it's been working statistically is if they offload their inventory far away from the value, right? When you're far from value, like you are now, you're in above 3 sigma, right? How many? Oh, I don't know if you follow Matt, but how many times do you find a lot of something above third standard deviation? In nature, it doesn't happen a lot, and you know, it just statistically does not happen a lot. So here, you know, on this trend, I'm not saying that it's, you know, don't use them, but I don't rely on them as when we are in a tight range and staying in between. I still have them just to know where's the opposite value. And
so
then
would it make more? Sorry. So would it make more sense to not extend them all the way to the present and just
you don't have to extend them. No, yeah,
Okay.
that's a good idea. The only reason I do is I want to grab that POC. That POC is representing almost, you know, 2 years of fair price. The fairest price is that at that POC. So if I don't know about that level, then and I'm shorting or something, I might get screwed, right? Just because buyers will show up there. So that's why I keep it. But yes, you're right. I mean, even if you, let's say, this is not fixed. There's fireworks. So I think we used to grab this profile here. Yep. So let me not extend, right? So if I go, let me make sure. And I just grab, I would say grab up to here. Well, this would be your 2 sigma here at 42.12. This one's gonna shift again. Okay, so your 3 sig is right here at 42.20. So it's sitting there still. Well, I don't know if I changed it. I think I did. 420 something right now. 21. So the 2 and 3 sigs will not carry a lot. It'll be easy to shift them. Why? Why is it easy to shift the 2 and 3 sig, but not as much first than POC?
Because of the amount of
volume.
Exactly. So amount of volume is not there. So those become dependent, but they set the tone where the opposite side is. So if I know that this is my 2 sig here and 3 sig here, this is what they're targeting if we break inside and hold, right? This is where we are, right? You can expect them to do that. So, you know, you have the 2 and 3 sig here. I'm sorry. Well, that's different. Let me see. Next, just first. Yep, that's 3S. So this would be the zone. I would expect them to bounce in somewhere. And you know, you might think that's a hell of a range for a bounce. But if you're buying and building a position, do you really think they care if it's 89 or 71? No, they don't, guys. They don't give a shit. When the big boys start buying at the low value, they just keep buying till they get it. And let's see. So tomorrow, this week, I think is the biggest week of the market for the remainder of the year. I think this week dictates how the remainder of the year is going to play out, bullish or bearish. Close this week inside this, then catch you here. Think about it, guys. That's just 140 points. I mean, I still make it sound like, wow, what a drop. Yeah, this is nothing. If we want to see a real move, you're going to break this channel and go here, right?
Shorty, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're above the 2022 value high, is this considered like discovery range that you're mentioning?
Yeah, now they're just trying to see if they can build value above it, right? It's important for bulls. And look, I mean, somehow they're just giving everything they got. They don't go below it. Look at this. Every single time they. So yes, I mean, now they got to create value here, right? And these values, if they're accepting the value away from this, what do you expect the daily sessions VAs to look like?
Like peas.
They should be like peas, and the value area should be progressing. Value area should be making higher highs and not overlapping at all. Should be
Yeah.
zero overlap from here. And tomorrow, that's going to be really, really important to see how we open the week, guys. I mean, super important for me. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, Shorty. Where did you stop that fixed range volume profile? What was the endpoint for you?
This one here?
The one where for the whole consolidation, you just moved it back, right?
Oh, you're
To
talking
get
about
the
the
6.
longer one? Okay.
Yeah, the longer one.
Yeah, so this one here, I just stopped it right below this, before this candle dump here. This will
Okay.
be Tuesday, May 23rd. I'm trying to include this point, but I don't want to grab, the candle that really dips here below. I don't want to include that because it would probably shift a lot of value, because that was probably inside the SIGs, the first SIG.
Okay. And then you're using 8-hour candles.
Yeah, if I was using 8, just because I can see the candles a little bit better. 8 gives me
Okay.
kind of like a clarity when I zoom in now. I can see a full candle without squinting. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be on tomorrow. I think, Drew, you're going to be on as well. So
Yeah, I'll be
I
on.
think we should have a good day tomorrow trading live.
We're gonna kill it.
Yep.
Like
Yes,
always.
sir.
That's the goal.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, see y'all later.
See ya.
Thank you.
Good night, up.
Like.
Right.